want to be where they're at, but we are afraid of one thing, which is the process. We have to go through the process of waiting, in order for us to make it to the place that we're supposed to be. So now, and before Kobe Bryant became that legend, he has to wait for his time. Before, just like Bill is saying, just like before KG became that person, he has to wait and he has to go through the process. This is the problem we're facing on time, where we don't want to wait. Waiting, the power of waiting is the most effective tool that we need, because if you don't want to wait, you're gonna mess it up. Because if you don't wait for the promise, you cannot get. If you don't go to the process, you can go to the promise. So you know what I mean. So it's very important for us to really understand that we have to wait. The power of waiting. That's the number one key that we need.
Exactly. I feel waiting is tough for people, and it's probably tough for us at times too.
Yes, of course.
You know, we can have a right mindset, but it's still tough where you want it now.
Of course.
And I like what you said, where you can want it so badly now, but you lose it if you got it now.
Of course.
Right?
Yes.
I've been in those moments where, I prayed about things and I get the answer to my prayer.
Yes.
And I have to learn the lesson that, yes, I was given it, but I wasn't ready to handle it, and I lose it. And I could be so upset at the fact that I lost it, but at the same time, if you look at the lesson in it, you realize you have to grow and be ready for it, and you don't choose when you're ready, and that's a huge thing with waiting, right?
Yes.
That's why I love how you continued with the basketball example with Kobe and KG. And like I said, I'm reading KG's book and everything, and you're learning about every aspect of his life. You're learning about things he went through as a kid, things he went through as a teenager that brought him to the NBA to be an incredible star. But you're learning what he went through, as much as he wanted it so badly when he was younger. So when we're waiting for something, we can't just do nothing. Waiting isn't just us sitting in this chair waiting. Waiting is actually working in the process to get to what you want.
Exactly.
Right? Build on that for a little bit.
Of course. So I'm going to bring it to the biblical aspect. So now, if you familiar with that scripture where God has given the people of Israel the promised land. And now God told them that I have given you this promised land, but now you have to go possess it. So they weren't, just like Bill was saying, they were not just seated at one place waiting for the promised land, but they have to go step by step, day by day, to possess the land that God has given them. So in order for us to be where we at, where God has called us, we need to go through the process, because without the promise, you cannot go. Without the process, you cannot go to the promise once again. You cannot ever get to the promise if you're not willing to go to the process.
Yeah.
The process is not easy sometimes. It's not easy.
True.
You know what I mean?
Very true. Yeah, exactly.
It's not easy.
I like that. You can't get to the promise without the process. Yeah. Whatever your promised land is, take that. You can look at it from the biblical perspective. God promised them the promised land, right? And so, what is your promised land that you're trying to get to? Is that a new job? Is that a family? Is that a relationship? Is that your dream finally being achieved? Is that you making the basketball team at school? Like, what is the promised land for you that you need to set as your goal and then start walking the process out to get to?
That's right.
That's huge.
That's good.
I like that.
That's good.
Yeah. And in the process, I like how we'll stick with the biblical examples. I always, when it comes to waiting, I always have one image in my head, and it's, when God tells, like you said, lead them to the promised land, they have to wait 40 years.
Yes.
Right? They're walking around the wilderness for 40 years, and you'll be able to build on that more so than I can. But He tells them to wait, and it comes back to it. They're in the process. I believe it's T.D. Jakes that said it, and he goes, a lot of people look at that as like they're waiting for 40 years. No, they're not sitting in the wilderness waiting. They're actively trying to do things. They're walking it out. They're building their families. They're living their lives. They're helping the entire community they're in grow, and then they get out of it. So they're not doing nothing in the waiting process.
You have to do something.
Yes.
That's the thing. While you're waiting, you must be active. You must beginning to position yourself to begin to have a different attitude, different mentality on how you're gonna enjoy the promise. Because the process, that's what's gonna make you And a lot of times people does not want to go to the process.
Yeah.
That's what's going to make you. While you're waiting, don't just sit down. Don't just be like, you know what, it is what it is. You have to really have a heart that is after the promise, but you are willing to go to the process.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Does that make sense? Just like you in the Bible, like, you know, even the disciple, they have to wait.
Yep.
Because they wanted to be used.
Yeah.
They wanted to go and do ministry, but they have to wait for the promise, which is the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
You
I
understand?
get that. Yeah. That's awesome. And like, you know, it's funny, even to bring it back to more like our life examples. Like if you're watching this YouTube channel, you've probably seen other videos. If this is the first one, you've got a lot of videos you can click on. But, you know, before we put the camera on, Obed and I, we were going over both of our YouTube channels and when we started them and how they've come about. And, you know, I've been doing once a week for like 4.5 years at this point. I haven't missed a Sunday. And people get like, oh my goodness, that's incredible. It's like, it is, but I knew when I started this 4 years ago in the woods on like a 7-degree day in the winter, just trying to start something that I want my life to move toward. It has like, and everyone at the start of that, if you watch that video, probably not going to put it at the end of this one because I'm yelling, I don't have the speaking ability down, I'm just trying to practice. And everyone's sitting there and they ask me every single week, like wow, you're getting better, you're getting better. Like that means the world to me. I could only get better if I looked at these videos as practice for when I'm on stage.
That's right.
I want to speak into people's lives. I want to speak into people's hearts, their minds, their souls for that matter, and truly help them. The process was every single Sunday consistently waking up and finding a message or creating a message or finding an incredible special guest to create something for it, because it's building the foundation and it's in the process of waiting that you can grow your skills and your strengths to be able to do it. Now I can step in front of camera and just, all right, let's go. But when I started, it wasn't there. It's just like we bring back to an athlete. Like you pick up basketball for the very first time, probably not going to get drafted by the NBA.
Not at all.
You know,
not at all.
You got to work your way to that level.
Of course,
right?
Of course. You have to go. You have to get into practice, and you have to go through the process. That's what it is. Life. That's the way life is.
Yeah.
So you want something, you want to become a doctor. What do? You go to the process.
Right.
You know, you want to be a nurse. What do? You go to the process. You know, a lot of schooling, a lot of studying. You know what I mean? Like it's not easy.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you will make it.
Yep.
Don't give up. Don't stop. Don't you ever stop.
Exactly, yeah. And to put a period on it, Eric Thomas is a great motivational speaker that I love. He helped me kind of learn just learning from him and his books and his messages is what helped me create Once a Week. And he has, I believe it's him, he has a message that he always tells it in his messages. I bring it to my life coaching clients now, and if I got a 26-year-old client, I always and they're like struggling with something and they can't learn something. I was like, hey, it took you 26 years to become 26 years old.
Wow.
And that's a statement, but if you think about that, no matter how old you are watching this video, 30, 40, 50, whatever it is, it took you 50 years old to get to 50 years old.
Wow.
Meaning you had to go through the process to get there. No matter where you are in life.
That's so good.
Every single day is a part of your process and you have the choice to how you will use that day. If you want to spend it in bed, by all means, enjoy your rest and relaxation. Or you can spend it, get up, and make yourself better.
That's right.
And try to, I'm not going to say make yourself better, try. Actively pursue the process to be better in whatever that means for you. If that's something fun, learning how to cook, learning how to do something else, do it. Why not try to get better with the time that you're given here, right? But that's the process. That's the power of waiting.
Oh, yes.
Awesome.
Definitely. So that is so good, guys. So practice, that's the same, right? Was it perfect? Practice makes perfect?
Practice makes perfect. Yep, exactly.
It's the same thing. It's just like, you can compare it to a process.
Yeah.
You have to go to the process. Another way, practicing what you've been called to do, practicing what you desire to do. That's what is going to make you